This is episode 5 of I'm Just Older Darling. Hello, kia ora, maelo. My name's Michelle, I'm the host of I'm Just Older Darling, a series of conversations with members of our communities who are sometimes referred to as elders. Their stories, their words. This was recorded during the lockdown of COVID-19. This conversation experienced some network issues, shall we say. I hope you enjoy it. I think it's still audible. Apologies for some of the quality. This conversation is with George, an elder of our community with Samoan heritage. Hello, George.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. My name is George Schuste, and I am Samoan. Happens to be living in New Zealand at the moment, probably forever, for that matter, because I have chosen New Zealand as my adopted country, and but I came from Samoa years back for my schooling and then education, pursuing a career in teaching, in secondary teaching at that, and but now I'm retired, so I'm over 70 now, not too far out of 70, but in that age now where you have your boots up and relax and do a lot of thinking, do a lot of reminiscing, and enjoying it. But yes, I come from Samoa, and my stepmother is still in Samoa, and both my biological parents have passed away. My mum passed away when she was 35, and I was only 11 at the time, and Dad passed away when he was 58, and I was about 32. So, and I come from a very big family in Samoa. There were two mothers there. My own biological mother, and there were seven of us, and my stepmother had 11. So altogether there's 18 siblings, 18 of us, and I'm the oldest of the family. Yep. And so being oldest, of course, in our society, there's responsibilities to go with being the oldest. And yep, love my country. I mean, emotionally, I'm still attached to Samoa, and every so often I go back there and just to reconnect with family, because my mother is still there, my stepmother is still there, the sister and the brother. But the rest of us are all outside now in New Zealand, Australia, and America. Yep, that's a brief history about my growing up in Samoa, and now I'm here with my family here in West Auckland. My wife, Camille, my wife is from the Caribbean, from Trinidad and Tobago, and we met in American Samoa when I was a teacher there in one of the high schools. And we have 3 children. We've seen Alessandro and Shani, 2 girls and a boy. We're very, very lucky in that respect. And my wife's still working, but I'm retired and enjoying every bit of it. Yes, that's a brief introduction about myself.
Being the eldest and the elder, what's your commitment, and how do you see yourself as an elder in current society?
there are responsibilities to go within the oldest family, and one of those is organizing the family in terms of events that take place in life. And in Samoa, we have a word called fa'alavelave. Fa'alavelave is Samoan word for events, for major events that involve family coming together and discussing things and organizing things, and then, for example, death in a family, such that being the eldest in the family, you are expected to take on the responsibility of gathering the family, calling everybody together. In a case where we are now, I've just had a call today from someone in the family that an auntie of ours had passed away in South Auckland in Monday. And this was an uncle of mine who called, and he is the matai in our family. A matai is a chief in Samoan, a chief, a person with a title, with a chiefly title, and he's got standing in the family. So he's kind of higher up than me at the moment because he's the head of our extended family, so to speak, whereas I am I have a matai title as well. I'm head of my little family here, in terms of my siblings, of my 18 brothers and sisters and their families. So I'm the oldest, and so I call them all together in terms of what we can do to help out our extended family who have notified us of a fa'alavelave within the extended family, the passing away of an auntie. So, that's where my duty as an eldest basically comes in. When there are events that happen for the whole family, or even a wedding, I would call people together, and then we talk over what we can do to help out in the case of a sibling who may have a funeral, or you may have a wedding, or some other major event taking place in each of our families. So I have that role as the eldest of the family. I don't mind the responsibility there. I take it quite seriously, and I think I have the backing of all my siblings, and so I'm grateful from that point of view, because I know of families who the siblings don't get along, and therefore the responsibility of the eldest is made very difficult to carry out. So I'm lucky in that respect that we all kind of close, and so we work together in helping one another out. And it's started, I guess, from Samoa again, because I was being the oldest, I was responsible for all my siblings for a number of years. So I used to cook for all of them when they were younger. They were going to school and all of that. So when I left Samoa, that's when I sort of evolved into something else. When I came over here to New Zealand, I was relieved of that responsibility. But then I resumed that responsibility again when many of them migrated to New Zealand here and made their home over here. So I kind of took over that responsibility again of calling family together and so forth. Yeah, so I don't mind the role. Responsibility is okay. I don't find it an onerous one, and I quite enjoy it. As a matter of fact, because we get along reasonably well.
Who were the elders of your day, and what do you think their impact was on you in their life?
Looking back, I suppose, to the people around me at the time, my uncles and aunties, the eldest in Samoa that of the uncles whom I looked up to was Uncle John. Uncle John, that was on my father's side. And then my mother was the oldest of her side, and there were 7 of them. And Mum was the oldest. And from what I could see, well, she passed away at the age of 35, and I was only 11 at the time. But a couple of years prior to that, when I was 8, 9, 10, up to when she passed away, I had learned quite a bit from my own mother in the way that she went about carrying out her responsibility as the oldest sibling in her family, and the way that she to exercise her role as the oldest in the family. So I learned quite a bit from her. And on my father's side, my Uncle John, who was the oldest, and my dad's side, my dad was the youngest of all the siblings on that side, and Uncle John was a great guy, and he basically rallied the family together, and but he did it in such a way that didn't cause people to rebel or not wanting to cooperate. He was a very nice man in the way that he brings the family together, and non-threatening sort of way, and a very humorous style that he had to make people feel wanted and valued in within the family context. Yeah, I think those were the 2 people that and then later on, when my mum passed away, it was my Uncle Lilo. My uncle is still alive. He's 94 now, and that was another person that I looked up to for many a year, really, for the example that he set in being the head of being a head matai, being a head chief in our extended family. Okay, himself and his brothers and sisters, and then all of us children underneath that. So we all have high regard for Uncle Lilo. Yep. Yeah, that's basically my learning there from my elders. Yeah.
How do you feel that the lockdown has impacted you as an elder within the community? Has technology helped you stay in contact, or has it become an obstacle?
Well, thank God we have the internet and email and all the other means of communication now, electronic means of communication. Otherwise, it would be impossible to communicate. So we communicate via email and phone and all that. Yeah. I appreciate the fact that we have these means of communication now. Otherwise, it would have been impossible to get hold of people and stuff. Yeah. I was able to use this medium now to contact all the others with regard to my auntie passing away.
What would you like your memory of yourself as an elder and the commitments you've made?
I think it's what you do, what you say, and more what you do. I think that people will remember you by. Yeah, it's the example that you set. I think it's I think given the because you do learn more from the example of people, from what they do, the good things that they do rather than what they say. yeah, that's how I sort of look back and saw the people that I learned from, and so I try to pass that along to my siblings as well, and to my nephews and nieces and other people that I meet. It's who you are and how you treat people. Yeah, how you treat people, how you respect people. So those are the kinds of things that people will remember you by. But especially my own wife and children. I think those are the people that I hope will that I could pass something on to, and they will remember me by as somebody who was genuine and sincere and have their backing all the way, and loving and all of those good things.
One more question, I believe. What are your connections to the wider community?
I don't get involved so much with the Samoan community as such, like being a member of a Samoan organization or a member of a church group, that kind of thing. They sort of recognize, at least for some, quite a few, they recognize who I am. Being a school teacher, I think that being a school teacher is highly regarded in Samoa, and also is kind of it's that tradition is carried on in New Zealand by the Samoan. So you have Samoan people. So if you're a school teacher, you have some sort of standing in the community. But directly, so I'm directly involved with the Samoan community in terms of me as a teacher, but not involved in other community activities such related to the Samoan community. But in saying that, I'm also involved in volunteer work, for instance. So that is something that I do that affects the whole community of Auckland rather than just the island community. So your involvement could be a cultural thing in respect to your own people, or it could be a general involvement affecting all the other communities here in Auckland. So I'm more the latter case, where I'm involved with the wider community than specifically with the Samoan community. But as a teacher, I was before. I had standing there within the community as a teacher.
Thank you for the conversation, George. I'm Michelle, your host. I'm Just Older, Darling. It's brought to you by Same But Black as a series of conversations with members of our community, sometimes referred to as elders, movers, shakers, doers, musicians, based in West Auckland and wider New Zealand. Each person has an interesting story and a perspective of their life. Thank you for listening to episode 5 of I'm Just Older, Darling.